welcome to the Dear Lacrosse Pod. This is episode 9. I'm your host, Angie Benson. If you can hit the subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. I haven't been on the pod, and why I skipped last week and why I'm late to my own party once again this week is because life has absolutely just been lifing. I know I said I'll drop podcasts every Wednesday, and then I said I'll drop a podcast every Wednesday-ish. And now we're just dropping podcasts when I feel like it because that's just how life works right now. But anyway, life has been lifing. I'll give you an example. Like, this is just my day today. I was planning on moving into my new apartment, because I've been kind of like nomadish for the past year and a half. And I was getting all ready, getting cashier's check, doing all that stuff. I'm like, let me start the day off great and do the gym, do my cardio. I'm in prep. I'm like a week out. Let me do the things I need to do first. And I get a phone call in the middle of my gym session at 7:30 in the morning. And it's one of my friends. And she calls me and she's like, Ange, I know you do reptile stuff, but do you have any guy friends too? I think something died in my chimney. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, something died in my chimney and it smells like death in the house. And I'm just like, oh my goodness gracious. So finish up my workout, drive over there. And we just flip the house upside down, figure it out. I literally pull up, my friend's on top of the roof looking down her chimney trying to find whatever died. Turned out to be an iguana. Typical Florida stuff in a nutshell right now. So then we go back in the house and we're looking up the chimney and we're looking at the flutes, the vents that, with the smoke out, and we're trying to find, we're like, if we open the vent, will this dead lizard just fall to the ground? But it didn't because the vents opened the other way and it kind of covered the lizard. So anyway, we're freaking out and we're using our phones and we're trying to find this thing and we found it. And we can't really get it. I lied. We probably could get it. Neither of us wanted to get it at all. So we're like, this is not for us. This is a man's job. I don't really want to do this. It's dead. I don't want to mess with this. Anyway, the same day she was getting a new AC unit, so the AC guys were on the way, and they knocked on the door. And 3 dudes were at the door, and I'm just perfect. And one of these guys looked like a typical Florida man. Long ponytail, hat with a fish hook, has a turbis, probably has alcohol in it, boots, jeans, that man probably wrestled some alligators for sure in his lifetime. So anyway, I'm like, you look like the perfect guy. Do you like reptiles? He's like, yeah, love reptiles. I'm like, awesome. Can you get this dead iguana out of my friend's chimney because it needs to go and I'm sorry. And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. Cool. Barehanded, this man creeps up, barehanded, plops, takes this dead iguana and just drops it out, no problem. He's like, you have a bathroom I can wash my hands with, and it was done. It was just crazy day. So that was just the morning. So then I'm getting ready to go into my new apartment, and I'm signing all the papers, I'm doing rent insurance, doing all the things, and then they're like, go get an inspection, write down all the things so you're not charged at the end, blah, 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 blah. So my friend and I go to inspect this new apartment that I just basically got. And I show up, and I specifically saw tile or wood floor. I wanted wood flooring. I was very adamant about not having carpet. That was the whole entire point of purchasing this apartment, was that I had wood floor, blah, 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 blah. My friend and I show up, open the door, there's freaking carpet. There's carpet. And I'm like, yo, I'm not living here. So anyway, call the realtor, management, have meetings with management. My friend's taking the reins, just really throwing the punches at this lady. And my friend's not living here. We're not living here. And I was like, oh, God. Okay, so, it was a whole entire thing. So I basically returned my apartment today. It's just, that's just a glimpse of my life, and that was just today, and my life has been lightning. So that is why I have not been super consistent, but I have been keeping up with lacrosse. I do want to go over my week 1 shins, and then obviously the week 2 games, and what I noticed in the streaming services in women's lacrosse. Obviously, I said this season, I'm going to watch lacrosse. I'm going to do the thing. I don't have Huddle to go watch games or whatever. not back in college, so I gotta pay for all these streaming services. So I'm paying for YouTube TV and ESPN, Disney Plus, or whatever, and that's all on like one bundle thing. And then I'm also paying for the Big Ten Network, and then I'm just paying kind of couple $100 to go watch women's lacrosse, which is rough. And then I'm looking at the screen, and not all networks are created equal, but you would think at the D1 level they would still be at like the equal part. But I would like just to have a shot clock on the screen. Like, just a shot clock. Pretty sure they do it in basketball. Can we just get, like, the notes? I'm pretty sure it's, like, the same people. Put the shot clock on the screen. That would be super helpful. But I will say, the new rule change with the instant replays or to the challenge replay rule is super sick if utilized correctly. In week 1, John Hopkins versus UF. Yo, O'Leary utilized it properly. I'm not sure about Hopkins. Like, he failed. but that was a really good game. Glad my prediction worked out in my favor. I thought UF was pretty dominant, pretty lethal, just as we predicted. Boston College versus Loyola, as expected. BC just kind of went over it. But Loyola did just have an upset 2 days ago versus Hopkins and beat them. So again, Hopkins needs a little bit adjustments, but Loyola is, I would say, kind of hiking their train. UNC versus JMU. I know I said JMU. This was a trap game. I was excited. I was like, maybe they're the underdogs. Maybe they can pull it off this year. They have before. Yada, yada, yada. They did not. I was wrong. And I will admit, I was wrong. They got annihilated by UNC. Levy kind of balled out, so I'll give her flowers. The freshman group at UNC was really cohesive. It was a fast-paced game. Goalie made saves. It was a good game. So I know I'm not on the UNC fan train, but I think a good game is a good game. So spade is a spade. UNC, you were dominant in that game. So there you go. I was wrong. Notre Dame versus Northwestern, closer than I thought it was going to be, but of course Northwestern came out on top. And then we move along to week 2. Cuse versus Maryland. Again, 2 teams in my top 4, my final. Well, not 2 teams, because not 2 teams. I lied. Scratch that. 1 team in my top 4. Cuse, wishful thinking. I wish they were in our top 4. They were in previous years, but now I feel like Maryland kind of took over that train for me personally. But in this game, Maryland did not show up, and it's unfortunate because they were on home turf. And Emma Ward, you heard it here first. Again, I told you so. Got her flowers. She had some pretty sick plays behind the back goals. It was sick. But I don't think it was Maryland's best outing. I do think it was Syracuse's best game so far. I thought they really gelled together at the attack, and obviously their transition was pretty fast-paced, and goalies and defensive movements were moving. Defenses were shifting, and the clears were pretty on par. But unfortunately, Maryland, you just didn't get it. You got stomped on your home turf, and that's not very characteristic, but it happened. I'm still on the Maryland train, but good job, Hughes. And Emma Ward, again. UF versus UNC. Again, always riding for UF, but UNC, another dominant performance, of course. Yale versus Michigan. I know I said I was going to get on the Michigan train, but Yale just beat them, so now it's kind of hard for me to be on, like, the Big Ten network all the time, unless there's, like, an ACC opponent. Is that wrong to say? Maybe. But this is kind of just like, I want kind of an upset for Michigan. Like, I want them to grab my attention more. I want them to grab, like, I'm not hating on them, but I'm not really just, like, rooting for them. But they're always in the rankings and in conversation, so I just want to know why. And obviously this game it didn't show me why. Next, BC College. Northwestern, BC wins 13-9. I thought it was going to be like a little bit of a closer game, but as expected, you have a number 1 team versus a number 2 team. I feel like they will see each other again at some point. This is not over, so I'm excited for the rematch. It's really hard to beat a team twice, and it is really hard to beat a team 3 times. BC got the best of them the past 2 times, so let's see if they can do it a 3rd time when they match up again. As you can see, I'm in a different location every single podcast. Well, so far. And today, I'm still at my friend's place, but this is her art wall. And this is more pieces of her abstract work and all of like her style and her face style. It's kind of cool. But I'll put all of her details in the description like I did last time. Her store is live. Again, if you buy art, you help me and the podcast. And other ways you can help the podcast is also buying gear at the gear store. I'll also put the link in the description, and that really helps. I think that's it for the pod. I don't have anything else. Matchups week 3. Yo, I'm just keeping my picks. I'm riding or dying. I'm going to stick on the ride or die train. If I lose, I lose. Whatever. If I win, you heard it here first. I do think BC is going to continue to be dominant. Northwestern is going to continue to be dominant. I'm interested to see if John Hopkins can kind of like bounce back. Where the schedules kind of flow. Are there easier games now coming up, or are there going to be bigger matchups? But I feel like there was a lot of big matchups in the first 2 weeks, so it might be easing out and then coming back up again. But again, once again, Emma Ward. I told you, they sniped you. They sniped you on All-American, and look at you, Player of the Week, Attacker of the Week. Congrats to you. Super happy to hear that. Even though confused. Some of these pieces will be added on the site, and you can purchase some pieces, or you go on the gram and see the works of art. Start requesting pieces, or you can have customs and kind of do something that you are looking for. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Episode 9. Peace.